concentration in Askin's eyes. Hardaway with a jumper.
3 down. Oh, great pass by
Scott for Hardaway.
on Austin. Jason Williams on Grant. Penny, one-handed dunk around Marver.
Off in traffic now to Goodwin. Here comes Anderson. Hardaway. Bradley couldn't beat it.
Hardaway. This kid's got.
Anderson hustling on the baseline. Saves to Hardaway. He'll fire it up with one on the shot clock and hit it rare.
Shaw quickly to Hardaway. Got to get back on defense.
And the real key to that play was not the fact that he dunked it, although yes.
Nick Anderson, another 3.
It's a 4-on-1. Hardaway.
Bothered by Lou.
I just shot my shot at this little dot. I'm trying to crit that neck on her big neck. My niggas selling crit.
What's the YouTube vision? I'm back in vision with a big body banger debut only 2 video. Now, first things first, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on the board 4K. You know what I'm saying? Today, I'm the build dealer on your local corner. I'm coming up with this Penny Hardaway next gen build video. Yes, sir, this was requested a lot of y'all want to see Penny Hardaway on next gen. I already did them on current gen, so here it is today. I had a good time making this build. It was definitely a balanced build, a tall point guard type of build that did everything that I needed to do. It could defend, dunk on people, finish that lay, shoot, you know, pretty much everything that you want out of a guard build, this build could do. Obviously, it's prime Penny Hardaway before the injuries. You know, the injuries really derailed his career, you know, just because that once you blow out that knee with his type of play style, it's hard to come back from it. But it's always a what if, like if he never got hurt, but we'll get into that more later. But without further ado, let's get right into the attributes that I use for this Penny Hardaway build video. So as you see, point guard, #1 right hand, you know, that's the logistic stuff. But I made him 6'7" because he's 6'7" in real life, 181 pounds, 6'11" wingspan, and a solid body build. You know, Penny Hardaway was not out here defined all that, but you know, we did what we had to do. Now this build will have pro contact dunks. It'll have the ability to shoot, you know, especially from the mid-range area. It'll have what, a 90+ driving layup, and it'll be able to post score as well. On top of that, you'll have pro dribble moves and lockdown perimeter and interior defense. Because Penny Hardaway was such a great defender for his time, you know, he was a tall point guard, meaning he could guard pretty much 1 through 3. You know, obviously his weight didn't allow him to guard the 4 and the 5, because Draymond's like the same height and can guard 1 through 5, which is, you know, another story. But he could guard 1 through 3, obviously, and on top of that, he was moving like a 1. You know, he could pass into open lanes. So I pretty much tried to represent everything that Penny Hardaway did in his time and then some, because obviously it's 2K, so I was trying to play around with it a little bit and give it as much as it could possibly have. So you're gonna see me adjust the post control, because Penny Hardaway was obviously a taller point guard, so he definitely did utilize that size for his time. You know, he would utilize his size over the smaller defenders, whether it was in the post or just driving, you know, doing acrobatic layups like Euros or whatever. Well, even at that time, Euros weren't really a big thing, because, you know, Manu Ginobili came in and popularized it. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. His gathers, his hop steps, you know, he was able to maneuver around the court freely because of his size, which was pretty much unprecedented outside of like Magic Johnson, you know, and maybe Scottie Pippen. You know, those were like the 2 other tall type of point guard type of players. You know, obviously Scottie Pippen was a small forward, but he still had a point guard type of play style. You know, and Penny Hardaway definitely was that third player to really be a tall type of guard type of player that could take over a game. Now, especially with Shaq too. So you see right here, it's a balanced build. I'm gonna finish with post control that's what, like 79 or in that range. So you are gonna be able to do damage against those smaller guards and take them into the post, maybe drop step or post spin around them. So that is an option for you. And if you want, you could play the ISO ball, drive and dunk on somebody with your pro contact dunks. On top of that, you could lay up over them. You know, that 90 driving layup is definitely underrated in 2K. You know, it allows you to do acrobatic layups, changing layups, just things in the air that you wouldn't be able to do without that type of layup. Now for the takeover, I went with finishing moves and T ratings boost, but you have access to the shot creating and defensive takeovers, so it's up to you. But I feel like a defensive takeover would also represent Penny Hardaway well. But you know, at the end of the day, it's what you want out of your player, and you see it's a two-way slashing playmaker. Shades of Lonzo Ball, DeJounte Murray, Tyrese Halliburton. I think Lonzo and DeJounte, that's a good example for Penny Hardaway. I wasn't expecting to get a Penny Hardaway shades of in next gen. You know, next gen shades of is a little bit worse than current gen, but we have been mastering it. You know, a lot of the time we do get the right shades of comparison. If you are, you know, loyal and you've been keeping up with the channel, you know, we have daily uploads outside of Saturday and Sunday. You know, at the time I was posting on Saturdays, so maybe I'll get back to that, but I really just started the second channel for real. You know, it's coming soon. Don't worry, I will have the first video out before the end of the month. That is my goal, either before the end of the month or before the first week of August. So with this actual build, you know, it did what it had to do. You know, it was definitely a Penny Hardaway build. It had literally no weakness. Obviously in real life, Penny Hardaway's weakness was the 3-ball. You know, he couldn't shoot the 3-ball consistently, but with this build, you know, it's not really a weakness. You're just good at it. You know, you have a 76 3-point rating, which is good enough to make open 3-point shots, but it's not anything Steph Curry level where you're just bombing threes, you know, but you do have that in your arsenal. And if you get boosts, especially, you know, it'll be like an 83 pointer. So you have to keep that in mind. But everywhere else, it just shines. It's great at defense, great at finishing, you know, great at playmaking, you know, great with the physicals. Like everything you could think of, it can do. You know, as a point guard, it has no weaknesses. You know, point guards, like a traditional point guard, is not expected to shoot, but this player can still shoot. You know, Penny Hardaway had a smooth mid-range jumper. You know, for his time, you didn't need to be shooting a 3-point. You know, the 3-point line was not that big of a thing back then. You know, it kind of started revolutionizing when you got to Ray Allen, then you got to Dirk Nowitzki shooting as a power forward, then you got to Steph Curry, who just completely changed the game. You know, Steph Curry is really the main person who made the 3-point line relevant, but obviously at that time Penny Hardaway didn't have to shoot any threes. So you know, this build definitely was explosive like him before that injury. You know, definitely had all the intangibles, you know, the height, the wingspan, the size in general. It could do everything on the court that you needed to do. Now, with Penny Hardaway, we see that he's coaching at Memphis now, and that's great. You know, I think he has a great future ahead of him at coaching. But like I said earlier, it's always a what if as to what he could be as a player if he never got hurt. You know, if him and Shaq stayed together too. Like, it's just so many questions as to how he would have turned out if he would have been a Hall of Famer, you know. And it sucks that injuries exist, because injuries, they just like, they always leave people wanting more. Derrick Rose, for example, you know, at a point we thought it would be Paul George when he twisted his ankle, but he bounced back really well. So it's just tough seeing that happen, especially the great players. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video, y'all. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 4K, you know what I'm saying? Comment any builds y'all want, and I will eventually get to them. But until then, I'm out. Peace.